Hello there, my friends. So this is Tara by Tara and Pittsburgh Pat, and you're having dinner with Tara by Tara and Pittsburgh Pat. This may become a segment. So we're going to recap our day for you because it was kind of fun. These are Pepe's, by the way. I just interviewed Jeff from Pepe's, the owner of Pepe's. If you haven't been to Pepe's, this is a amazing Siegfried. It's pretty awesome. Chicken bacon sandwich. So today I got to do a positive first. I've been collecting positive firsts in my life, which is doing things for the first time that are positive for me. And we got to teach Dungeons and Dragons at a summer camp.
It was pretty nice.
A local university. Yeah, to kids that were like 4th through 6th grade, so like 9 to 9. One was 9 and 2 were 11 years old. They were all boys. Oh my gosh, were they boys? So I started them out. I didn't even like say their names really. I just started them out, and like I was like, okay, imagine you're in a supermarket, right? And this man runs up with the uniform on, and he says, well, I don't even know if I said uniform. The man runs up and says, "They're back. They're here. They're back. I need help. Help." So originally I was going to have the store filled with like a couple of giant bees, but they focused on this one giant bee. So I showed them how to do perception, roll for perception, listen for bees, and hear the bees and all this kind of stuff. But like I always give my D&D players a way out without fighting, and I thought that like they might do that.
No. No.
So Tara was playing for the first time, and she was like, okay, we're going to open the window and let the bee out.
Yeah, I was trying to use my powers of persuasion, which I kept rolling low.
Yeah.
I was trying to be helpful and try to communicate with this creature to see if it just wanted out. But like sometimes creatures aren't there to hurt you. They're just looking for an escape. Yeah, and the boys weren't having it. They were beating up on me. And then at the end, they used a flamethrower on me.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, what? I've never had anybody use a flamethrower.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. Literally not cool.
Literally not cool.
So, so that was, that's, I get it. Like, they're kids, and like they watch a lot of, they play video games, and usually in video games kill the bad guys, right? So, I get that. So the next scenario, they're like, can we go to a get-go? And I was like, I was gonna go do a D&D thing. I was just gonna do the supermarket thing because I thought it could be like calm and introduce them to like certain like techniques, like movement and teamwork and things like that, and no weapons, but somehow they kept looking for weapons in the supermarket. And I'm like, they don't have flamethrowers in supermarkets. Like they don't exist, right? So anyway, so I'm like, I was gonna go back, to medieval kind of times because that's what D&D mostly is. So no, they were going to do the get-go thing. So I'm like, all right, we'll do a get-go. So we take the map. I draw like the pumps and the get-go and the ice machine. And Tara's like, how about an air pump and a vacuum and all this sort of stuff. And a tanker. And the one kid's like, well, can we have a tanker truck over here that's filling up? And I should have known right there. Yeah. But I missed that. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm making it realistic. So that should have been my first clue. This was going to go horribly wrong. So I had this little figurine of like Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, right? Yeah. And I put Maleficent down, and I'm like, okay, there's this lady who's looking for her lost book. And I was going to have it like revealed that she was a witch looking for a spell book, right? And I didn't know how it was going to go. We were using story dice. If you haven't seen story dice, they have little pictures on. So you roll it and you make like up stories. And that was kind of like we were playing freeform like that. It was not a pre-made adventure at all. So the kids decided that they wanted a pew-pew, right?
Yeah, that's how they put it.
So Dara didn't know what a pew-pew was.
I was like, what?
I knew what a pew-pew was, but a pew-pew, if you guys don't know, is like a laser pistol, right? So it's pew, 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 like Star Wars. So so the one kid's like looking for a pew-pew, and I'm like, okay, so roll the dice. Well, he rolls like a 20, so I basically have to give him a pew-pew somehow. So I'm like, okay, there's something like underneath the counter that looks like it could be a laser pistol. I was totally not going to make it a laser pistol. but anyway, he intimidates the man behind the counter to giving it to him. So he gets it that way through intimidation. And then as I'm recounting this, I'm seeing all my errors. So the second kid wants to pew pew, and I said, well, there's a bunch that there are things that look like that, but they're on the wall, but they say they're water pistols. So he takes one and tries to shoot the witch, and nothing happens, of course, because it's a water gun and there's no water in it. So I said, but there's a sink over by the coffee station. So he decides he's going to take the hottest coffee he can get and put it in the water pistol, which I should have figured that something like that would happen. But anyway,
that was creative.
It was creative. I have to give him that. It was creative. But he's going to shoot her in the eyes, and she dodges. So then he shoots the book, the spell book that Tara tripped over and found. So, so anyway, this is how it goes. And then he tries to get the woman's purse. He takes her purse, like the witch's purse, and he tries to take Tara's money, and then she tries to get it back. Anyway, it's this whole terrible robbery, basically.
Yeah.
So, and then they go outside and they blow up the gas station, of course, because it's a gas station, But
the funniest part to me was after when we were reflecting on it and discussing it. He was like, no, it wasn't really like I was being mean to you. Like I was doing. He was able to somehow validate and turn all of his actions into something that was positive.
Yeah, it was that was kind of twisted.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was trying to justify his actions, and then. So we all go outside. So the three boys are like, the one guy's like, can we go outside? And I'm like, well, it's kind of stuffy. So there was a door. We went out back, and we're on the back porch. It was just me and the three kids. And then these two ladies, rather austere looking in black garb. There's a convent next door. I'm not saying that that's related in any way. I'm just saying this is what happened. Yeah. And they walked past, and I could hear the one saying to the other, yeah, there's a summer camp. And so there's kids here. And so as they're approaching, so the kids are playing ball and cup and some other there's phone stuff up. Anyway, they're playing. And the one lady says to the youngest kid, the 9-year-old she says, summer camp. Oh, what's your summer camp? And they all say, Dungeons and Dragons. And the 9-year-old says, we just robbed a get-go. And I'm like, face palm. Oh, I am not being invited back. I am gonna get this. Yeah, what did you learn today, son? Well, we just robbed the get-go. But I'm teaching them that's bad. I'm gonna teach them it's bad tomorrow.
Two very good points though that you made at the end of the class.
Yes.
First was how you recapture it with the students. And you phrased it exactly the way you needed to. You were like, what are you going to tell your parents when they ask you what you did today?
Yeah.
And you shouldn't say, we robbed a get-go. You should say, we
prevented a time traveler from messing up the past, because how else would there be a laser pistol unless the guy was a time traveler, right? So that's what they did, but that's what we're telling the parents. But what they did was they robbed a get-go. That's what they did.
Yeah, but then the second thing that you did bring up, a point that I think most of them got, was that, a lot of the things that we do in role-playing games and fantasy games, aren't real life.
Games.
Aren't real life. And, this is an opportunity to do things that you wouldn't do in real life. That's kind of one part of the logic behind it. Escapism and all of that. So it was good to make that distinction with kids, because you do hear these stories about people that just lose their sanity and think that
they can't switch it off and on.
Yeah, they think that that world is the real world.
Right.
So,
and I learned a lesson, because I'm not going to reward that behavior tomorrow. So So when we start tomorrow, they want to do like a far future thing. So we're going to do some Star Wars type thing. And so I will tell them that like the temporal police like threw them in jail. So basically they're in custody now. And their only way out is to do this next mission. So it's going to be like Andor, basically.
Yeah,
or not Andor. It's going to be like Rogue One.
Are you going to do some character development?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to create new characters. They're going to create new sheets with their character class on it.
Yeah,
and
real.
yeah, and they're going to roll dice and for their traits, or we're going to do a point buy or whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is when we start the scenario, they're going to realize that their past actions had ramifications on their characters, right? So we're going to carry that over just to emphasize that point.
That's
So
cool.
so having had time to reflect on that.
Yeah, like.
But all in all, I had a blast.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
And they made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was.
But boys will be boys.
I mean, I was. Well, girls are like that too sometimes. You know,
Violent?
yeah. Oh
Wow.
yeah. Sometimes girls are can be even worse. Sometimes girls have other ideas of things that are a little bit more passive aggressive and things, you know. So yeah, it's not a gender thing. It's like everything, everybody. Yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah. So that's one thing that, you know, might come into play in future D&D classes. Like, I would like to have you set you up to work in some of the other places that I work, because some of the kids are generating, you know, through my business, but like through our business.
Yeah.
Because I see when I talk to people, kids, pre-teenagers, younger teens, they're kind of interested in that.
Well, here's the thing I forgot about the tanker though. We had to work to resolve this. So after the petty theft, the at simulated gunpoint, the one kid runs out past his Porsche. He has a Porsche, right? So this is another thing. He's got a Porsche that he filled up with gas before all this happens, and then he gets the tanker truck and rams into the building or parks in front of the building, and then they're gonna like blow it up. And they take off in their Porsche. That, you know, as a getaway vehicle, that's probably the least inconspicuous vehicle you could use. So they're definitely going to get caught, right? Like, they're going to get caught.
Yeah.
So, like, why did we get caught? Well, you were driving a bright red Porsche 911 convertible with 3 people in it. And you know what I mean? Like, this is and from a gas station is now
inflamed.
Basically a mushroom cloud has gone up over the suburbs, and so
It's so
this
funny.
got out of hand real fast.
Anyways, that was a really cool class, and I'm really happy we did it.
It was fun.
We'll come back and do 4 more days
Yeah. So
of it.
stay tuned. Maybe we'll do another one of these, and thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and tell me some of your DD adventures and some of your one shots in the comments below, because I need as many ideas as I can get.